What is or what have you come across of anything that if people want to call and possibly they have a claim, what are some documents that they should look for to show that they were there or that they've been exposed? Is there anything that people should start looking for?
Yeah, great question. So we got to show two things, and it can be shown in various different ways. Whatever you have is great. It's been one of the highlights. I think I've talked to many, many different families, and every family has a different set of documents. And we've seen all of these. There's hundreds of military documents, but the one thing that everybody has, and they've been trained, every veteran knows, DD 214 shows where you were. And some of them have a second page that shows literally every base that you signed into and signed out of. That's very helpful. And usually a lot of our guys, it says PISC, Parris Island, South Carolina. That's where boot camp started. So it'll show leaving your city,
right,
getting to Parris Island, and then usually approximately 8 weeks at Parris Island. And then it'll say CLNC in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina.
Gotcha.
And then it'll say CLNC out.
So it gives you the time frame that they were there.
Right. And a lot of times what you see is then they go out, they go to school, and then they go back. But that window right there, it has to be over 30 days. Every one we've seen has been over 30 days. You get it right there in the very beginning. It's part of boot camp. Mm-hmm. It's usually the last 5 weeks, and then they hang out for about 5 to 10 days waiting to get sent to their school.
Okay.
And it's right there. So that alone is really good.
Yeah.
And then you need documentation of your illness. So some sort of medical documentation with a diagnosis. And
okay.
Those are the two big things. If we have those two.
Which is pretty easy for most, well, I shouldn't say easy, but it's easier to get your records, whether that's through an online portal like MyChart or something, just to start to show that what your condition or illness is, right? I mean, or you don't have to go and sign a HIPAA and get a form. You can log in.
Yeah, so in the beginning of the case for us is submitting that intention to file a claim with the Department of the Navy, and that gives us enough to get the process started.
Okay.
And then we're going to get a full set of medical records.
Right.
We're going to get more proof. But we have, it's harder if the family member is deceased and they don't have the DD 214. Mm-hmm. We have people who have sent us 100 letters that were stamped
from that,
love letters from the spouse, and they that were saved by the wife, and they show signed Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, stamped, saved the envelope that they were in. They came from Camp Lejeune.
Yeah.
In the
1958.
1958.
Yeah.
So it shows that they were there. The other question that we're asking people is, if you know, where did you live? Was it Tower Terrace?
Okay.
Was it Hanot Point? Where within? There were only 3 or 4 real barracks where people stayed. And we're able to show the chemicals that were there. There's a dry cleaner that put a bunch of chemicals into the ground right near Tower Terrace. So we're expecting to see certain illnesses there, and other exposures had to do with fuel leaks or buried nerve agents. And so there's different contamination sites within.
I was going to say, are there sites that were contaminated more so than others?
Yeah, and they're different. There are different types
different
of contaminants.
Illnesses.
Yep, different
coming out of them too.
Different chemicals in different sites. Different illnesses are related to different chemicals, and some of that's on our website.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for people who need to get medical records for someone who's deceased and maybe a longer time has lapsed, whether it was someone who's infant passed away or something like that, whether it was the 70s, 80s? Do you have any advice on how they could start to get those records? Because I don't know, it might be.
I think the lawyer, that's the job of the lawyer, is to get the records. If you have them, get together what you have, because a start point makes it easier for us to do our job. Where we can request things, and we don't need everything, but we need to know where we're making the requests from. And if you have some records, well, now we know the name of a doctor. Now we know the name of the particular hospital and the dates of potential treatment. Mm-hmm. And
so gathering more information is more helpful than
not
the best you can.
Correct. And we can figure it all out, but if we have a head start, that lets us be a little more efficient.
Gotcha.